Ladies and gentlemen, it is not a linguistic battle. It is not a battle of languages. It is a battle of administration. Ladies and gentlemen, as I told you, I am working on the Equator Secretariat. I have committed to 10 policies, not just 4 policies, but 10 smart policies. Ladies and gentlemen, second on my policy is to ensure effective communication. I want to extend profound gratitude to His Excellency Lagami Kumane for providing emails for all ministries of the University of the Gambia Students' Union. I will make sure that when I come into office, all official matters, all communication that has to do with the union are done through email. I will reduce the use of WhatsApp for communication to make it sure that there is transparency in the activities of ministers of the Students' Union. Ladies and gentlemen, policy number 3 is timely release of the activity report. Now, you all will agree with me that Congresses allow little time for us to come and hold our student leaders to account. This is because the activity report is released just a few hours before Congress. So therefore, I am making it a policy to release the activity report 48 hours so that you can all scrutinize the report before the day of Congress. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the policies that I so much love is policy number 4, with the caption, sub-association as partners. You all will agree with me that time and again, activities of sub-associations are seen to have been colliding with the activities of the union. This is as a result, there is no comprehensive action plan to make sure that activities are strategically designed and implemented. I am promising if I come to office, I will request activities plan of all sub-associations consolidated into one roadmap to ensure there is no collision in the execution and implementation of union activities and sub-associations. Also, you all will agree with me that sub-associations are seen to be carrying the same activities. What I will promote is the culture of partnership. If SOSA has a cleansing exercise to conduct, ESA has a cleansing exercise to conduct, why can't they partner and make it a massive cleansing exercise that individually compete? I am going to contend that. Ladies and gentlemen, next on my policy is capacity building trainings. As Secretary General, it is fundamental that you understand that sub-associations are the operational arms of the union. Without sub-associations, the union cannot function. I will conduct capacity building for all sub-associations and students that are interested in leadership, administration, communication, and entrepreneurship if I come as your Secretary General.
Good afternoon to you all. Before going any further, I want to let you know that there is absolutely nothing that can extinguish the fire burning in me to serve the students of the University of the Gambia. Ladies and gentlemen, to me, leadership is not just a mere attended word. Because I am born a leader, I am groomed a leader, and I am growing a leader. That is right. I have the confidence, the audacity, and the temerity to stand before you today as your Vice President, their Vice President, and everyone's Vice President because you would. Ladies and gentlemen, bearing in mind that we do not have the luxury of time in our purpose, I will quickly take you through a rundown of my policies. These are policies that are drawn in accordance with your interests as students of the University of the Gambia. And they are as follows. Policy number 1, representation at Senate. Policy number 2, establishment of a well-structured Vice President's network. Policy number 3, standardizing the UTG orientation program. Policy number 4, establishment of an entrepreneurial finally, policy number 5, introduction to a hotline. Ladies and gentlemen, to give you a detailed explanation of these highlighted policies, first we start with representation at Senate. It may interest you to know that according to our Constitution, the Vice President is responsible for representing the entire student body at Senate. The Senate being the highest academic decision-making body in the university. And at Senate, the issues that I want to make sure they are mitigated when I'm voted in as your Vice President are as follows. The portal system, the grading system, the course registrations and all issues that are related to the portal. It may interest you to know that the medical students, even though all of our students from other faculties are blessed with the opportunity to enjoy their portal, our colleagues in the medical school are...
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. As said by my backup speaker, and as said by my opponent, the Senate is just not for anybody, and the Senate is not for her. Ladies and gentlemen, the important role of the Vice Presidency, according to the Constitution, Section 30, is to represent you at Senate. And the Senate is the highest academic body that makes academic decisions. And I'm glad to tell you that my opponent is lucky today because I declined alliance because they have been proposing me. Ladies and gentlemen, just to take you through my policies, I have 10 policies here with me. And one is to decentralize of administrative function, introduction of campus dean forum, expansion of internship, we have curriculum review, we have student welfare fund, we have UTG fellowship, we have career development, we have research and development.
And most importantly, their portal system. As presidential candidate that extensively engaged in the Gambia executive, I have come with solid policy stance to ensure that the Ministry of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology, as well as the UTG management, establish an endowment fund which forms part of the annual budget of the Ministry of Higher Education, which would be endowment fund for sponsoring the elective program of medical school, but most importantly for all nationals, irrespective of their origin, including international students, of course. Ladies and gentlemen, on the issue of accommodation, as a believer in my vision, of course I'm engaged in the Gambia extensively to know the current status of their accommodation. For that reason, knowing that 2 principal dormitories exist for them, and another one which is an additional one, occupied by lecturers who are yet to be moved to a room or compound allocated for them in Parado in West Coast region. Once elected into office, I would make it an affirmative action to buy the 5-ton pump water that is lacking in the lecturers' dormitory for their easy movement to the Parado camp or Parado residents allocated for them by the UTG management. So they will medical students occupy that space that is usually allocated to them. Finally, I would also ensure that we undertake serious reforms to make sure that we address the portal issue of Unigamsa students. And this would enable their political participation in our union, as they do not have an established and a functional portal system right now. Next in my policy is to address the issue of transportation. Of course, as former Deputy Secretary General, who was one of the most prolific concept writers of the union that established programs and intensive opportunities for union students, I would ensure that part of your tuition fee, which is transportation and development fee, and mount a consistent and a systematic pressure on the UTG management for the procurement of buses. Next in our policy, in my policy, is to establish or undertake a legal reform to create 2 or 3 fundamental ministries
fair share of its challenges. It is a duty that you discharge with dignity, with determination, with distinction that are widely admired. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome that Section 12 of our Constitution tells me the role and the functions of the presidency. And at the helm of that, you cannot execute that best when you lack experience. I was never appointed in the union as a deputy. I was popularly elected as a deputy. Quickly go up onto my policies, ladies and gentlemen. Since we don't have luxury of time, I will just move quickly to my policies. I have understanding University Gambia challenges, and that is why I put my policies in two forms. There are generic problems, there are peculiar problems. General problems are those that are common to all campuses. Peculiar problems are problems that are known to a particular campus. But ladies and gentlemen, I have 16 policies for you. And these 16 policies, they are divided into two. There are what we call sustainable agenda, and there is what is called advanced agenda. These two agendas must be met. To start with the sustainable agenda, I will promise with the timely and consistent issuance of student grades and timetable. I have break the record in terms of issuing timetable. I have managed to issue the timetable of students 27 days before exam. I have managed to issue the grades of students 45 days after exam. Ladies and gentlemen, I will maintain the status quo by working with the University Gambia Registry to ensure that measures are used, lecturers who are defaulted and they are accountable that they fail to do so. Ladies and gentlemen, quickly to my brothers and brothers associates, medical students, Mr. Jamal is here, and the General Health Minister is here, Mr. Jeba. We understand your rights. And when it comes to the issue of your portal, it is rather unfortunate that I have candidates saying that medical students don't have portal. That actually unveil their own
Thank you very much, honorable interviewer. My name is Amadou B. Jawate. I am, of course, a presidential candidate for the upcoming UTG SU election, which is just tomorrow. I must have said I consider myself as an independent candidate together with any other candidate because the constitution did not recognize party politics. So technically we are all independent candidates. So it's just that it is unfortunate that they are coming on informally to appear as a team, and the next minute this teaming is now resulting to caricaturing, character assassination, fighting, just to name a few. So to me,
so what is the reason behind your contest this year's election?
It is very sad indeed because most of the students' platform that I am, of course, it was a platform. You can see that people keep on attacking each other, insulting each other, character assassination. More so because of this party politics. I was in Ghana last July and I saw on social media and student status that the former president and the current president had issues. They cannot solve this within the university, but they have to go to police. We had the caucus, last Saturday at Carnifing in Dow's Hall. The same thing, we noticed that two students were fighting, up to hitting each other with chaos. Before we realized, we noticed that again, two other students log ahead again. So this, among so many reasons, that is the reason why I deem it necessary to come out to defend our constitution, because I know, as the name implies, University of the Gambia Students Union, where there is no unity, we cannot actually achieve any development and we cannot do anything for the union. And actually,
what do you think is in your policy that is not in the policy of other contenders?
One of the things that are in my policy is the scholarship that I made mention of. That and
that is not in the other people's policy.
Actually, they have not actually talked about scholarship in their policies. I talk about creating scholarship opportunity of at least 100 fully funded scholarships.
Can you share with the viewers how do you intend to fund?
Thank you very much. In this, I hope to call on or organize what we call scholarship camp, thereby banking on the donors, the philanthropists, and of course the government entities and non-government entities to come and then support the UTG students. Prior to this, we will definitely engage them into an official discussion to actually talk to them, to come to the aid of the UTG student, to support them, to sponsor them, to be able to attain their education.
So what is your last word to UTG students now that we are heading to polls by tomorrow? By this time, election results would have already been declared. So what is your last word or last message to the UTG students?
My last message is
let us be united. Let us speak one voice as UTG students. This camp isn't to say I'm in the coalition, I'm in Team Alliance, is only bringing in fragmentation amongst ourselves. And that is defeating the purpose of unity, as the name implies, University of the Gambia Students Union. We should forget about this campism and we stop the fighting, the insulting and the caricaturing and then see each other as brothers and sisters.
Should the election results turn negative on your side, will you accept the results?
Of course, I want to believe if this is actually based on constitution and of course, what it takes to require the laws that are governing our SU. If it is law-abiding, and of course it has to be based on the laws of the SU, I see no reason why I will not respect the decision of the students. So whatever I do, it has to be guided by the constitution and of course the laws and the regulations of our students.
It should be guided by the laws and regulations of the student. That were the last words of Mr. Amadou Jobate. And I will have interface with his contenders. There are three in number contesting for this year's SU election in the presidency. Thank you very much, Amadou. Mr. Nged, what is the rationale behind your contest as a candidate in this year's election?
Okay, thank you so much for that question. Actually, the reason behind this, I believe that the student union leadership needs a transformative agenda. And to have that transformative agenda, people with experience, people that have served and served again, should come and rescue the University of the Gambia Student Union.
So what do you think you have that your contender did not have as a policy?
Is experience. I am somebody who has the experience of serving in this particular position because I have served as the Vice President of the Gambia College Student Union. Equally, I have served as Vice President of the School of Agriculture and Environmental Sciences. Eventually, I have also served as the President of that same school. This has given me the understanding and the institutional background of how to run the student union, especially when it comes to the Senate representative. And this is one of the reasons why I decided to contest under the coalition.
So can you take us a quick rundown of your policy, some of your most important policies that you feel your contender did not have and you have, and then the UTG students should actually take advantage of what you have and vote you in?
Okay, thank you so much. I came with 10 policies and my opponent came with 9. And out of my opponent came with 5, and out of my 10 policies, I have a policy that is to decentralize the administrative function. I have a policy that is to introduce the campus dean forum. I have a policy that is to introduce the UTG fellowship.
But having policy is one thing. Trying to implement those ones is another thing. How is your implementation drive towards making sure those policies that you are coming up with will be implemented?
Yeah, thank you so much. Most of the policies that I came with are policies that are to be expanded because these are policies that I have already implemented at sub-association level. So I already have the understanding and the skills, the expertise that I will just have to expand by using the same skills. So I already have them in place.
So should you turn out to be the loser in the election, meaning if the student turn out to vote for your opponent instead of you, will you accept the election results?
Yes, I will definitely accept the decision of the electors. But I am also glad to tell you that students are not convinced because I know that they will vote for me because Usman Gad is the right person for that particular position.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gad.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you very much, Bakari, for having this discussion with me. It is indeed an honor. However, the reason that motivated me to go for this position is because there are burning issues that are happening in the University of the Gambia, and I deem it necessary to show myself to the students and, of course, to offer my services to ensure their welfare is guarded and protected.
Very good. So looking at your contender who is a male by gender, so what do you think you have in your policies that he doesn't have and then the student would put you in the office?
Thank you very much for asking that question. Actually, I have no personal issues with my opponent. I have no issue with his gender as well. However, I believe the policies that I've stated are well sufficient to some of the things that are affecting the students of the University of the Gambia. That is why I came up with those policies. And of course, some of them were not in his policies. So I think when it comes to assessment, the students will choose me over him because of the policies that I presented to them. Thank you.
And also looking at the political landscape of the University of the Gambia, you realize that female participation into politics in the University of the Gambia over the past years, has been always minimal.
Yes.
So looking into this year's election and also from the political camp that you are coming from, you've realized that, they have a number of female participation in their political camp as opposed to the opposing camp. So what do you think informed the decision of your political camp in coming up with a lot of female participation into your political
Thank you very much. Personally, I am a gender activist. I've always loved to see women up there, which is one of the reasons that motivated me to come. I'm currently the vice president of one of the sub-associations in the UTG, that is SOSA, Social Sciences and Humanities Students Association. And I believe as a young woman leader, there are a lot of students that look up to me as a person. And so seeing me going to SU2 is going to ignite a spirit in them to ensure we do not only act as supporters, but also we act as key players in our affair, in the decision-making body of our school, or the decision-making of our school. So the reason that motivated the team to look into the possibilities of having a lot of women in the team is because we believe there are a lot of women, young women for that matter, in the University of the Gambia who are capable of rendering services to the students of the University of the Gambia. To also add on to that, we also believe that women cannot just be mere supporters. We also can contribute to our quota in the decision-making processes of our union. So that is why we ensured we at least pool 4 female candidates. And of course, these are not just candidates, but credible candidates for that matter. So this is to ensure, even though it is not standard, because you would realize it is just 30%. But this is to ensure we also inspire young women out there. Probably when you come next year, it is going to be more than the number of female candidates that we will have is going to be more than what we have this year. So the whole thing is to draw inspiration and, of course, motivate other people to come on board.
Okay, looking at the position that you are contesting, that is the vice presidency, and as per the constitution of the University of the Gambia Student Union 2022, the vice president of the University of the Gambia Student Union is the representative of the student at Senate. So, and seeing yourself as that person, representing a whole lot of 7,000 to 8,000 students at Senate, what do you think, would be your first priority among those men and women at Senate?
Thank you very much for asking this question. This is a fundamental responsibility of the Vice President as enshrined in our Constitution. Just to let you know, the Senate is the highest academic decision-making body in the University of the Gambia. This is where issues regarding our grades, issues regarding everything that is related to academics is settled. And this directly deals with the affairs of the students. So that is why I am very honored to vie for this position. And of course, I will be more than thrilled to be voted in office as the next senator who is going to ensure, with her convincing skills, with her communication skills, and of course with her speaking prowess, bring sustainable development to the students of the University of the Gambia.
Good. So should the election turn out negative on your side and of course your camp side, will you accept the decision of the Electoral Commission?
Oh yes. In as much as we want to serve the students, I think their decision in this matter is what stands out. If they have the ultimate decision to vote into office people that they believe can represent their interests. If I am not lucky, which I'm not sure will happen, to be part of those people that they want them to represent, or they want to represent them, well, I'll actually accept in good faith. However, there is no going to stop me from rendering my services to the students of the University of the Gambia.
However, that will not stop her from rendering her services to the students of the University of the Gambia. That was Binta D. Bojang, vice presidential aspirant of the 2022 UTG SU elections. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. this day is very important when it comes to elections in the University of the Gambia, because it is that platform where aspiring candidates, or should I say candidates, present to students their responsibility or their plans they have for them when they get into office. And then students also have the opportunity to scrutinize these plans and also pose questions to them. I, for one, take this as a very important event, and also at national level to be emulated, because this is a platform, and universities, of course, are platforms or incubators where ideas are supposed to be propelled. And this idea has worked for university over the years and years, so the national level also need to learn from this. The emphasis, or should I say the importance of this event cannot be overemphasized, considering the fact that it is a rare opportunity to converge all students from all faculties to under a single umbrella for this kind of event. So I am really placing emphasis or importance to this event.
Okay, what has your presence, the pitch in this event? Because considering the fact that this is a political, enterprise or a political activity, and then you came through a particular team, which is the coalition, and then the coalition is also a stakeholder in this year's elections as well. So what has your presence, the pitch in this convention?
Yeah, when it comes to my responsibility as a president of the University of the Gambia Students Union is to make sure that in me people see the reflection of everybody irrespective of your political affiliation. And this year, if you are a keen follower of the election, that is exactly what you see. I made sure that I distance myself, despite the fact that I came into office through the coalition, from all activities, especially just not to influence the decision of the people. I want people to vote on basis on the basis of policies, on the basis of experience and competency, and not because the former president or the incumbent is from this team. And I feel that has been achieved, as today midnight will mark the end of campaign, and successfully I have not involved in the campaign. And then my presence here today is in my capacity as the president of the Students' Union, and not maybe former candidate of the coalition or former opposition person of this Inter-School Alliance for Change. So this is also a message to whoever comes into office to emulate the fact that when you get into office, you need to serve everybody irrespective of political affiliations and what other affiliation they may have. So that is this change I also want to impact as far as our university is concerned.
Thank you very much. That was Mr. Lagami Gumane, the current president of the UTG Student Union, speaking to Africa Renaissance TV.
Thank you very much.
Standing beside me here is the Secretary General of the UTG SU Electoral Commission for the MCILA. For the MCILA is going to set light the Electoral Commission's preparation towards tomorrow's election. Yes, Mr. Silla, how prepared is the Electoral Commission to stage one of the most contested elections of the University of the Gambia Student Union?
Thank you so much, Mr. Mane. And then I would want to say the University of the Gambia Student Union Electoral Commission is fully prepared. We've been preparing ourselves since 3 months ago. And then now the icing on the cake is the election, which is going to be tomorrow. The convention, alhamdulillah, was successful thanks to our collective spirit and then the support of the UTG management as well as the UTG Student Union. And also our fundamental stakeholders, which is the student body of the University of the Gambia. And then currently, as you can see, we are trying to pack ourselves so that we would get to home and prepare ourselves for tomorrow's election. We are fully prepared. From last year, from the previous commission, we realized that they had 8 polling stations, and then we increased the number to 9 to ensuring that the GTTI as well as Faraba also they have their polling stations. So currently we have 9 polling stations. 1 is going to be in Faraba, 2 in Brikama, 1 in Law Faculty, 3 in Business and Public Administration, 1 in GTTI, and then 1 in Banjul. So in each of these polling stations we have 4 polling officers, one of which is a presiding officer. And that presiding officer is of course the electoral the commissioner of the Student Union Electoral Commission. So currently I can say we are fully prepared. Everything is in place, all our materials are in place, ballot papers are printed, T-shirts are printed, cards are printed, we have our beeps, we have also distributed the ballot boxes to all the polling stations. So we are just waiting on the time to arrive.
You are just waiting on the time to arrive. So now, considering the nature of the election on the election day itself, you need human resources to make sure that, in terms of volunteers, where do you source your volunteers?
Yeah, thank you so much for this question. And I think the handing over ceremony that we had with the previous commission was very helpful, because they showed us the way forward when it comes to how do we choose our volunteers. We realized that the commission, according to the constitution, is constituted of 10 commissioners, and then you have more than 10,000 students in the University of the Gambia, which of course include the undergraduate, the postgraduates, which is the master students, as well as the PhD students. So managing those that kind of a number with only 10 commissioners is quite impossible. So we need to make sure that we look out for volunteers so that they will help ease our work. So in that case, we bang onto the Electoral Commission of the Gambia College Student Union so that they will also partner with us to stage this election fruitfully. And also, we also bang onto the general student body, students who have never been affiliated with any political camp or with any individual who is aspiring as a candidate for this election. Those are the kind of people that we bang onto so that they will help us. And in that process too, we made sure that everything was made clear to them, because we told them that we do not want to bring you in and at the end of the day you jeopardize our aspirations as a commission. So that was made clear to them. And then beyond that too, we also gave them what we call volunteers pledge. Every volunteer signed a pledge that they would uphold the spirit of the commission and they will abide by all the electoral rules as well as all the rules in the student union that are binding on everyone. So honestly, yes, we can say that we have volunteers from the University of the Gambia and then also the Gambia College. For the Gambia College is the Electoral Commission of the Gambia College that we brought them, and then there are 8. So we are 41 currently, 10 of which are called commissioners of the UTG Electoral Commission, and then 31 of which are called volunteers, which of course include commissioners of the Gambia College.
Okay, so what are some of the challenges that you faced?
Yeah, honestly, the fact that we staged a referendum, honestly, that disturbed us, because it was not part of the schedule. When you look at it, when we came into office, we designed what we call our roadmap. The roadmap captures the activity plan of the commission. And in that activity plan, there was nothing like a referendum. A referendum was unforeseen. It just came at the wrong time for us, because we had to actually cancel or postpone 1 or 2 activities. So now, as a result, that was a challenge, because we are not seeing that. And also, financially, previously, in the beginning, it was a challenge because the budget that we wrote to the UTG-SU was not all approved. It was significantly cut. But they have also comported at the latter stage, especially when we needed a supplementary budget. We just talked to them, and then they said, let us just write, and then that was it. And then also, when you look at the student data, because this time around, we came with a student data, because every individual in the University of the Gambia has a data where your name, your math number, your program of study, your level of study, all those things are included. So those are some of the things that we also tap from the Directorate of Student Affairs, so that we will be able to easily locate active students of the University of the Gambia, because this time around we are only focusing on students who are active, not students who are on deferment, and not students who have already collected their attestation. And in order to do so, the Director of Students Affairs advised us to make sure that we have the student data, so that we'll be able to guide us through. But having that also was a problem, because you realize that there are first semester students of this academic who were not captured in the previous data. So we had to wait on that to be incorporated to the data, so that we will be able to get it. And also the software that the previous commission also talked to us about. You realize that still we haven't had so much training on it, because we couldn't get it on time. We thought it was going to be just free of charge, but at the end of the day, it was said to us that no, we have to pay, and then we had to pay an amount of $5,000. So that was actually challenging. Still, we haven't laid our hand on it, but hopefully before tomorrow, we will be able to have an online training on it, so that we'll be able to use it effectively tomorrow.
Thank you very much. That was for the Msilla, the Secretary General of the SU Electoral Commission. Standing beside me is the chairperson of the Electoral Commission of the Student Union of the University of the Gambia, Chairman Gay. He is going to shed light on the preparation so far for tomorrow's elections. Mr. Gay. Chairman, good evening.
Good evening.
It has been a very hectic day.
Indeed, it has been.
It has been, indeed. It is not easy. So, but what are your preparations? How far have you prepared to making sure that tomorrow's election is a success?
Thank you. I think the preparation have gone through since. If you look at our preparation this year, we have ensured that everything that we are supposed to do have been done at least days before the particular league. So that is what helped us throughout the process. Now, all the ballot boxes have been transferred since on Monday. We have shown that we have been doing everything. The ballot also, tokens also, everything have been printed since on Saturdays. So that has been a great thing also. Of recent, if you look at, we started sensitization since, and then we have also covered a lot of radio shows also, almost 9 different radio shows together with TV shows.
So far, what are some of the challenges that you face along the way? Because the electoral process of the University of the Student Union, started way back, since, the beginning of this academic year.
Yes.
So what are some of the challenges, if there are any, that you face, in making sure that you arrive at this level?
Yes, I think we have faced a lot of challenges. But for the fact that whenever we face a challenge, we will talk to the responsible people in ensuring that challenge will be. Like, for example, this convention today, the venue was always a challenge because we were tasked to also have a venue that will be different from the customary venue at the Faculty of Law. That was also another thing. I recall for us visiting a lot of the time OIC together with Benjamin Hall, but the prices that were allocated were prices that were in fact more than the budget that was given to us. Later on when we had here, it was also another problem, but we discussed with the management, and UTG management also support a lot, especially the Director of Students Affairs, who have been one of the key players in ensuring that everything that we have asked, whenever he asks at any given moment, he will do that. I recall yesterday he was at the faculty, he was in office until around 6, just to ensure that all the bosses and everything will be approved. That means he has been doing a lot for us.
Thank you very much, Chairman. That was the Chairman of the Electoral Commission of the University of the Gambia Student Union, sharing with African Renaissance TV of the challenges and as well as the successes of the ELC. This year's election shall be a talk of the town. Hello viewers, that does it for this program. It was a very interesting and fruitful program here in the Gambia College, University of the Gambia. It was the Student Union Electoral Commission that calls on for a convention of the 2022 Student Union election of the University of the Gambia. We have heard about the policies and the programs of candidates, of the various candidates that are vying for the political positions of the Student Union. Thank you very much. Until I come your way, bye-bye.